Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. As you can see, I'm back home in Pennsylvania. I'll tell you about the trip in a minute. But today's topic is going to be, where do you hurt most? And I mean location, not body part. So, we'll get to that in a minute. Listening to some rain up on the roof and the skylight. Breathe in the comfort of being back home. Breathe in the peace. Exhale the noise. Breathe in the calm. Exhale the chaos. Breathe in the clarity. Exhale the doubt. So first, a quick update. My son Matt, as you probably saw in the past couple of days' videos, he was up in Vermont doing a long gravel bike ride. What that means is dirt roads, dirt paths, kind of ATV type of paths, those double line, single tracks underneath the high tension wires, and very little paved highway, mostly dirt and gravel paths, which there's quite a bit of in Vermont. You can pretty much stay on those paths the whole length of Vermont. So we had planned a 300-mile trip. The second day, cut it a little bit short. He was going to do one more leg, and he was feeling a little bit tired. So he said, all right, I'll start up where we left off tomorrow. So day 3, Sunday, he finished up the day yesterday's, or the day prior's distance. And he pulled up to me in the truck. We're in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the woods, no cell signal. He pulls up and he goes, hey, Dad, what would you say if I called it quits, threw in the towel? I said, you've done incredibly well. And sure enough, he rode his bicycle on gravel and dirt 206 miles in about 20 hours. And unfortunately, his knees just started to get really sore, both of them. So it was fatigue, it was overuse. I don't think he's going to have any long-term problems with it. I don't think it's TMS. I think it was just, too many hill climbs. There's probably, in the first 200 miles that he did, there's probably uphill about 23,000 feet of elevation changes. So that's like pedaling uphill for, 4 miles straight up in the air. So, in any event, he did great. He's feeling fine. He's just home resting. We called it quits. Sunday, about midday, hopped in the car and had a brutal long Sunday afternoon trip through Connecticut, through New York. And once we got into Jersey, it was kind of opened up and free, but took a couple hours longer to get home than we would have liked due to the crazy traffic, primarily in Connecticut and some at the George Washington Bridge in New York. Anyway, enough of that. It was a great trip. Thank you so much for all of the well wishes for my son Matt. Sorry I couldn't have shared more of Vermont with you, but when he called it quits, it was time to quit. So I'm back home, and if it weren't raining, you'd see my backyard again. So, topic: where do you hurt the most? Geographically, location-wise. For some people, it's at home. For some people, it's when they're out. For some people, it's both. So I'll give you that. Let's talk about the home. Many people will say, sometimes I can get out and I can engage in life. I can be with other people. I can do certain things. And when I'm engaged in living, I don't hurt so much. The pain may not be gone, but I don't hurt as much. But when I get home, here it comes. Other people feel like home is their safe place. And they've kind of created a comfort environment at home where they sit, they lay in bed, they soothe, they feel better there than they do going out, because there may be a lot of fear surrounding being out. And what if I have a bad pain attack while I'm out? Oh no, terror, fear, perceived danger. So the main difference and why some people hurt more out and why some people hurt more at home isn't that they're moving their body. It isn't that they're doing too much by going out or doing too much sitting home or anything like that. It absolutely has 100% to do with which location they are perceiving more danger. So simply put, sometimes it's just a conditioned response so that, some people can go out and perhaps work or hang out with other people, get out of their house. And when they do, they get out of their thinking, problem-solving, suffering brain, and they engage in life. And as a result, less perceived danger, so the symptoms can come down. But then what happens when you get back home? We start looking for the symptoms or expecting them. And when we expect the pain, what does the brain usually do? It says, here you go, got them for you. That's called predictive coding. I learned that from Dr. Schubner. So in the past couple of days, I've been doing a little bit of talking about visualization, daydreaming. And what I would suggest is wherever you tend to experience the most symptoms, the most colorful symptoms, the most pain, I'm going to encourage you to start visualizing or doing mental rehearsal or daydreaming about yourself in that location, doing those things pain-free, right? Because if you always expect pain when you're home, because that's frankly where most of us have experienced the vast majority of our pain, I think the only way to really shift that is to start imagining, visualizing, daydreaming of what it would be like to be home and not be hurting, right? The brain does not know the difference between something vividly imagined and reality. So if you can get into the practice of daydreaming or mentally rehearsing what it feels like to be home without pain, for example, you're much more likely to experience that because you're setting a different expectation and you're not going to be looking for it quite as much. And you can flip that and do the same thing if you are fearful or even terrified of leaving the house because you're fearful of what may happen if the pain comes on and is as significant as it sometimes can be. So, where do you hurt the most? Not body-wise, locationally. Start to put into play some of the visualization, daydreaming, mental rehearsal that I've been talking about lately. If you haven't seen those videos, just go to my YouTube channel. dansyoutube.com will bring you right there. And in reverse chronological order are my recent videos. Actually, they're all there if you want to scroll back far enough. And start to look for the videos on mental rehearsal. And the one that I just did, I think it was yesterday, about, time travel if you're in a rut. Because I talk about how we can kind of begin to see and visualize and daydream a future without pain or symptoms. So that's what I got for you today. As you saw, I was yawning a little while ago. From Thursday through last night late, being out on the road, traveling a lot, Matt doing a lot of mileage, me driving through, middle of nowhere, Vermont, finding these little trailheads on these dirt paths and waiting there with no cell signal, hoping he makes it. So between driving up there, driving around, and driving back, I put in at least 800-900 miles. So I'm still tired. Got to catch up on my sleep. I did some last night. But I really appreciate everybody and your well wishes for me and my son. It was a great trip, a great bonding opportunity for he and I. Provide him the support he wanted and needed to be able to go on an adventure and try to tackle a challenge like that. He was a little disappointed he couldn't finish, but he was also smart enough to throw in the towel when he realized his body was just saying, you've had enough. So, thank you everybody. Love you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.